Greetings, everyone. I'm in the city of Patterson right now, and I wanted to give a short story about a situation that happened in my life. And it took place here on this sidewalk, actually across the street from the park. I'm sure if you see that video, you'll see a history of my thoughts on the park growing up. But see right here, this is the spot where I actually had a fight. I believe my first official fight in sixth grade, I believe. And yeah, how it started was I was actually walking with someone, and we were actually, I think, horseplaying. We weren't friends, but we were just horseplaying. And I remember it happened over here at the sidewalk down here. We were actually pushing each other, and while walking from that sidewalk and all the way here, we were like pushing each other. And then at that point, we both got angry and decided, hey, you want to fight? And we're like, yeah, sure. No one wants to back down. Personally, me, I didn't want to fight, but my thought is if I back down, then, maybe it's going to get worse. So I didn't want to look weak. And then we actually ended up stopping right here where that spot is. And I remember on the lawn right here, I don't want to show the people's house too much, but on the line here, you had like someone's little daughter. And I was hoping at the time, oh man, I hope, she goes, tells her parents, and they break it up, because I didn't want to fight. And next thing you know, I just remember she ran into the house, never came out, and we ended up fighting. I'll say it like that. Well, while we were fighting, I guess both of us are swinging, and I got bored. I know that's strange to say, but I got bored in the fight. Not that he was a bad fighter, it's just I didn't know what to do. We got bored, so I ended up just going and putting both my hands on his shoulder, bringing him to me, and biting him right on the shoulder. I just remember him screaming, and when he screamed, I went back because I was like, oh man, did I do too much? Because, that's just what happened in the heat of the moment. And then we both just walked. And while we were walking, we just started walking down, the path to where our old houses used to be. And for years, we didn't like each other. For years, we didn't really say much to each other. I remember I did go home. I started crying. And my parents were like, what's going on? Why are you crying? So I told them what happened. My mom wanted to go to the school, so we did. She reported it. And the principal said, we're going to have to suspend your son. And they're like, how come my son's going to get suspended? They're like, well, it happens. We have to report it. And she's like, it happened off campus, off school. So what jurisdiction do you have? It's like, well, we still have it. We have to do it. So I think this day and age, it could have been a fight that would have won, that I wouldn't get suspended. But back then, it was either different or it was something else. But all I know is when I came back from my suspension, the teacher was saying it, the students were saying it. They were like, yeah, you got suspended, but he didn't. The teachers did nothing to him. And I'm like, okay, the teacher is saying he was in class. The students are saying he was in class. He was bragging he didn't get suspended. So I go to the principal, hey, he said he didn't get suspended and I did. So the principal will lie and say, oh no, he got suspended, this and this. It's like, okay, nowadays, I think we would actually ask for the evidence and proof. This is like way before we had cameras and social media and how people are today. So at that point, I was upset. My mom was upset, but I can't remember if my mom actually called or she didn't. All I know is I was upset, and me and him were actually going to start thinking about fighting again. And then the principal was like, okay, guys, you're not going to fight again. This is going to stop. Some people said the reason I got suspended and he didn't was because of favoritism. I don't know if that's true or not. That was years ago. But yeah, so after that whole fight situation, for years, since the sixth grade, we didn't like each other, didn't talk to each other until high school came up. And I think it was maybe sophomore year or maybe junior year. It's been so long. But I remember he actually came into the locker room And he actually just started talking to me saying, hey man, you know, years ago what happened between us in 6th grade. And I can't remember, I wish I remember what he said, because basically, to sum it up, I would say he was wanting to end that chapter and be on good notes with each other. And to this day, I respect that. I just remember he was just saying basically, hey, let's not live in the past, let's move forward. We were kids and I just want to move on. So took out his hand, I shook his hand, and yeah, we had good standings with each other. To this day, I respect that. I look back and I go, you know what? I would say in my own words, he was the bigger man. He apologized, if I'm correct. I apologized too. We shook hands, and that was it. But he was the one who initiated it. So, yeah, to this day, if I ever do tell people the story, I just say, you know what? I respect him for it to this day. I, appreciate what he did, and I wish him the best. Don't know where he's at, don't know what he's up to, but I wish him the very best. I'm glad, he was willing to extend his hand to make peace and to make things better between us. All right, God bless.